Welcome to the Ultimate Venice Guide. If you don't know me, hi, I'm Eleonora, your Italian bestie, and I give daily tips and tricks on all things Italy, both on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. I know that's pretty crazy, but I love sharing about my country so much. I was born and raised in Italy, in Rome, Italy, and I traveled so much around Italy. Anyways, let's dive right in the Ultimate Venice Guide. First things first, where to stay. Now, first of all, let's talk about Venice as a whole. Venice is really compact, so it's really hard not to be in a touristy area because everything about Venice is quite touristy, I have to say, but there are some more local areas that I recommend you staying at. The first one will be Cannareggio. Cannareggio is actually one of the places that I discovered that really made me excited about exploring Venice because it's just outside of the city center. Like you literally need to walk an extra 5 minutes and it's so much more quieter and the restaurants are amazing in Cannareggio and you can still get to all the famous landmarks in about 5 to 10 minute walk. So Cannareggio is the place to be. However, the second one will be Dorsoduro, and that is also quite a good option. Again, super close to the main sites and attractions, but just a little bit quieter. Let's talk about transport. So you won't really have to take any public transport whatsoever unless you want to take a water taxi to go from one place to the other, or if you're arriving at the airport or at the train station, you might have to grab a vaporetto, but nothing is much further than like a 30-40 minute walk. So if you don't have heavy suitcases, then they can definitely walk or get a vaporetto, because I think it's also very fun to get the little like ferry, like the water bus around as a little like Venice experience. And obviously you might have to get a gondola ride, but the gondola ride, I don't think that's really considered a transport at all. It's just a fun, enjoyable experience more than anything. Let's talk about what to avoid in Venice. The one thing to avoid in Venice, it's do not sit down at Rialto, like near the water, the bridge, the Rialto bridge, because it's such a overhyped place and you're gonna get average food for a lot of money. So please, like every time I walk past there, I'm like, please don't tell me you're eating that frozen pizza. Like it just looks so sad for me because I know that next door, just a road down, like a 5 minute walk, there is a truly amazing restaurant. So if you want a special place where you have a beautiful view, definitely go there. Maybe get a coffee, get a cappuccino. Don't get the food because it's just not worth it. And this is just from like an Italian's perspective. The second thing to avoid in Venice is to sit in the San Marco Square because like everything is going to be again super overhyped, and I say this for like Rome as well. Don't sit down near the Pantheon because it's just a tourist traps everywhere you go. Let's talk about safety. Obviously, everyone would have seen the lady that shouts "Attenzione pickpocket" in Venice. However, I actually felt overall quite safe. I knew that I had to watch my bag, and if you have a bag that has a zipper and you don't get in the main crowd, you will be fine. If you do get in the main crowd, just make sure you put a hand on your bag and you will be fine. I would not recommend using backpacks because that is literally thieves' wonderland, literally. For things that you should pre-book, I would highly recommend you pre-book the St. Mark's Basilica tour. I would leave some down below. You can either do a skip the line, and also they will have access to the bell tower, which I highly recommend for beautiful views of Venice, or you can just get the St. Mark's Basilica and Judge's Palace as well. That is a must as well. So I will link everything down below for you guys, but definitely pre-book them in a timely manner. I'm not going to tell you to pre-book them now for your July trip. That will be more things like the Uffizi Gallery in Florence or the Colosseum and Vatican museums in Rome, but I would still say pre-book them in a timely manner as well, maybe like a month or two in advance, just because you want to make sure that's the first thing you do in the morning, 9 a.m., you do your St. Mark's Basilica visit, and then you head out and you spend the rest of your day. Now let's talk about day trips from Venice. The only one I would actually take is day trip to Murano and Burano. Those are the two little islands just outside, just off Venice, and they're a 40-minute ferry ride. The ferry is like 10 or 15 euros or something like that. You can get to Burano first because it's the furthest out, and basically is a beautiful little island with colored houses, and they also are really famous for their lace objects. So make sure you take a little stroll around there. That will take you literally like an hour or two, get a coffee, and then from there you can get the ferry to Murano. Murano is where the glass objects are from. Make sure you check out some of the artisans that work the glass. However, make sure you don't pay for that, because you should not be paying to watch an artisan work glass, because that's their jobs. You should not be paying for that. So if someone is asking you for money, just go somewhere else. There's going to be hundreds of artisans working glass, and you can see them for free. Those are the only two really day trips that I would say to do in Venice. I know a lot of people love to go to Verona. However, I feel like you should do that separately. I feel like Verona deserves its own time, and Venice also deserves to be appreciated. And I don't want you to rush when you're in Italy. I want everything to be quite, as much as possible to be enjoyable and not be panicking, going around trying to see everything. In terms of length of time that I would stay in Venice, I would say 3 nights is ideal. And that includes a day for the day trip to Murano and Murano. I wouldn't stay more than that because Venice is super tiny and compact. In terms of where to eat, things that you need to try in Venice, it's definitely a local aperitivo. I think one of the places that we really liked for an aperitivo was Al Pesador. It still has a beautiful view of the canal, because there's literally canals everywhere and gondolas everywhere. And you can have some Aperol Spritz with cicchetti. Cicchetti are like Venetian tapas. So you will see some little plates that are 5 to 6 euros. So those are the best that you can get. And it's a very traditional thing. You can even do a cicchetti and Aperol Spritz crawl. You can book that as an experience, and I think again it's so much fun. I will leave some linked down below. I do also have a Venice Insider Guide, which I think it's super helpful. It's like a little investment. It's like 23 euros, and it will save you so much money and time researching. Contains everything you need for your Venice trip. Even has a Google Map itinerary where you can literally pop that on your phone, and anywhere you are, if you're hungry, thirsty, anything like that, you can see my map anywhere you are in Venice. So you literally open the map, you're like, I'm here, where is the closest restaurant? You can click on one of the pins and discover a new place to eat that is actually vetted by someone that has spent quite a bit of time in Venice trying these restaurants. For another restaurant actually to eat, go and check out Osteria Diavolo e l'Acqua Santa. That was such delicious meal that we had. I think it's around in Cannareggio, and it was so stunning. It was such a local vibe, and I think I had pasta with beans. It's such a simple food, but so earthy and so homely. So I absolutely loved that one. I truly hope you enjoyed this video, and I really hope you find it useful. Venice is so stunning, but it's so tiny, but it's so hard sometimes to find places where you're like, this is the place to be, and this is not a tourist trap. So this is why your Italian bestie is always around Italy like a crazy person, trying to find the best places for you guys. So make sure you subscribe and like this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, leave them down below, and I'll be seeing you in my next one. Bye guys.